Gibbous is a comedic point-and-click adventure developed and published by Stuck in Attic. A faithful homage to the golden age of point-and-click games, it features a fully voiced cast, traditional animation, lots of puzzles, and a talking cat.
The book to end all books, the storied and long fabled,
the Necronomicon!
Yes, Sister Halo, that's the one. Next time, maybe you let the actual cult leader speak its eternally horrible name, yeah? Thank you. The Necronomicon! Yes! No doubt some among you have questioned its very...
As evidenced by the name, the game wears its Lovecraft references right on its sleeve, primarily centred around the discovery of the Necronomicon. Set in the town of Darkham, your three main characters are Buzz Kerwin, the librarian of an ancient library that stores the book, Don Archetype, a detective sent to retrieve the book, and Kitty, a cat that's been given the ability to talk after Buzz stupidly reads the book.
My detective cylinders aren't misfiring. That's gotta be the librarian. Evening.
Good evening, sir.
Interesting library you got here. Is it old?
Yeah, pretty old.
It's old, huh? How old?
Like really, really old. You might even say it's ancient.
Ancient, huh? How ancient?
It was established by one Jeremiah Orne in, 18... A really, really long time ago.
After a cult discovers where the book is and tries to blow up the library, Buzz goes on the run with the book and falls into a world of cosmic horror, incompetent cults, cannibal rituals, voodoo, and the old ones praise their dark names.
He's gone.
Was that you making all that racket, Kerwin?
No, Mr. Orange, sir. Someone set up a bomb in here. I was about to call the police.
Nonsense! You call this a bomb? You should have seen Dresden, son! Now that was some firepower right there! Clean up a little, will ya?
First off, the game looks absolutely stunning. With hand-drawn backgrounds, more than 60 of them, Jesus, and traditional animation, the whole game runs super smoothly with a lovely fluidity to it. It's very reminiscent of the animation style of Dragon's Lair and other titles like that. If you're an old-school LucasArts fan, welcome to heaven. The amount of detail is simply astonishing, especially for an indie game. There are games developed by full studios that don't have half the attention to detail that Gibbous does. The game also sounds stunning as well. With over 4 hours of really good background music along with excellent sound design and a mostly excellent voice cast, this game has a focus on quality that would put most other design studios to shame.
Dinger Kampa per Adonai Methatron. What the? This is genuinely becoming really scary now, and I'm all alone.
What do I do, Kitty? God, I wish you could talk back for once.
All these good foundations are key to make a good story work, and the story here is a cracker. All of the areas are plays on key locations from Lovecraft's stories, and they aren't too cheesy to be cringy. The story moves along at a fair pace and never gets bogged down, and all of the action sequences are really well done and tie the gameplay sections together really nicely. All this leads me to the jewel in this game's crown, the dialogue. It's been a long time since I've encountered a game that's this funny, with more than a few parts that are genuinely laugh out loud funny. With the delivery of an expert voice cast, every joke is spot on and really helps give the dark game setting a light and funny tone overall, without it seeming ridiculous.
You're a direct man, aren't you, Mr. Finman?
Yeah, and I've been known to judge a man. He was nosy and skinny, too skinny.
I try to eat right, Mr. Finman.
Oh yeah, so do I. Sorry, must be this hunger I guts up in me.
What is so funny about that?
Oh, nothing. Fishing with humor. You ain't got the stomach for it.
Sheesh. What's this festival you mentioned?
There's a serious amount of effort put into dialogue in this game. With more than 12,000 recorded lines and over 70 characters, this would have been a filthy, laborious task for a company with a dedicated sound team. For a small studio out in Romania, this must have been backbreaking. Even if they'd completely screwed the pooch on this front, even just the attempt would be worth a huge thumbs up. I mean, they've even done unique dialogues for every possible item and object combination in the game. That's just fucking mind-blowing. The game's faults are all quite minor, bar one, and pointing them out seems almost trivial in comparison to the rest of the game's huge obvious good points. I'll start off with my largest issue, which is that the main character of Buzz is not voiced very well. This is held in even starker contrast when compared to the rest of the cast. They're all perfectly weighting their lines and emoting properly. Buzz just seems to drone his lines and it kills every joke he attempts dead. He's literally the weakest link in a stellar cast, and to have him as the main character makes no sense in comparison to the amount of work put in to make the dialogue as good as it is.
Alright, it all started when I found this book. Well, to make a long story short, I accidentally put a spell on my cat, and now she's even more annoying than she was before.
A spell, huh? How'd you go about doing that, Harry?
I used this.
Vaulting voodoo vixens, is that the
The Necronomicon in all its glory. Wanna have a look-see?
No, put that away. That thing should not be touched. Oh boy. I'm sure glad I'm not in your shoes. I can't help you with your cat, my man. There are some things even I don't mess with.
Some of the jokes suffer from the one line too long syndrome. It's not a big problem, but it does get worse towards the end of the game. There are a number of jokes that really could have been edited down to give them greater impact. There's an issue of using the over-explanation is actually the joke trope, and it never lands. Game length is a bit of an issue too. At around 8 to 9 hours, that seems to be enough, but there's so much going on in the story that another few hours would have really helped. That said, this game is so fucking good that it could have been 50 hours long, and I'd still be complaining about wanting more. But there are a few elements of the story that aren't explained very well by the end of the game. I really do think they could have been fleshed out a lot more. Another minor issue is the puzzles. They can be quite simple at times, and I was never really stuck on any of them. I'm not a genius by any stretch of the imagination, but if you're looking for a proper head-scratching challenge, you won't find that here. What you will find, however, is a stunning piece of work. If you're a point-and-click fan and you don't have this, then you are missing out, and you have no excuse. This is a really rare thing, an excellently produced and properly funny game that is a real joy to play. Keep this studio on your watch list, because they're onto a real winner here.
What would you do with a fishman sailor? What would you do with a fishman sailor? What would you do with a fishman sailor early in the morning?
That was something indeed.